Dear Chief Minister, we had the occasion of meeting yesterday at the invitation of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of India. And as he was sitting beside me, I had the opportunity of getting to know you and to exchange points of views about your role, your political role here in this so beautiful land with so beautiful people. I thank you warmly for the invitation to be here and congratulate the government of Goa and also Imagine Panaji for the timely organization of this conference on urban design. I also salute Professor Eduardo Aires, whose work in the area of design is internationally recognized, for having accepted the challenge to speak to you today on what has been the focus of his work in a city, a big town in Portugal, the one of Porto. In this globalized world, it is not hard to conclude that cities are geographically distant as Porto and Panaji, still fight for very similar objectives. The aim of attaining an intelligent, efficient and sustainable urban infrastructure, and thereby improving the lives of their inhabitants, of their populations. This is clearly a common goal of many cities throughout the world today. Working for the citizens, working for common citizens, for common people, because we, politicians, we serve the citizens. We serve common people. That's why we were elected. That's our task. That's our dream, but also our mission. Every day's mission. We're speaking of urban design. And of course, I'm going to take the advantage of this opportunity to tell you a little bit about Portugal and urban design. Maybe not everyone here knows, but Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, was elected European Greens capital in 2020, this year. In April this year, it will host the Urban Future Global Conference 2020, with people coming from all around the world. An event dedicated to urban sustainability. And Lisbon is also committed to becoming an European city of reference in terms of mobility in 2030 and to achieve carbon neutrality in 2050. It's a way of working for our populations, for our citizens. And the component of design is a part of the strategy, both official and across the board, of many Portuguese cities, and forms an effective part of an agenda that is also political, cultural, technological, and social. With projects and professionals and knowledge that abroad, Portuguese design has sought to make the most of what sets it apart. A material ecosystem, a certain craft tradition, technical and manufacturing competence, and scale. In short, the essence of its identity. Capable of uniting the traditional and the post-industrial, the local and the global, building bridges and establishing relationships. Portuguese design aims to be instrumental in shaping the future. And this is also our challenge in such a conference, to make the bridge between the past and the future, taking advantage of the past. And here in Goa, there is a micro climate speaking of cultural dialogue, of cultural heritage, of cultural legacy, because this is a unique place of this dialogue between West and East, between Portugal and India. And this past is not only important for tourism today. It's important because people do like it today more and more, and ask for it more and more. The difference, what is different, what is specific, what makes the difference between the various places around the world. And India is as a whole very specific. But Goa, inside India, is so specific, so different, such a unique place, such a unique dialogue, where we meet the future, we do not meet the past. We cannot have a nostalgic vision of anything in any place. That's the way I feel my arrival at Goa. Not a nostalgic one, because past is past, and time doesn't go back. But past can become future if you take advantage of that past and of that present. It's up to us. I was, for a long while, local member of what we call a municipal parliament, even the president of that parliament. That corresponded to the village where my family had its roots, in the north of Portugal. Very poor, the poorest of Portugal. At that time, the poorest of Portugal. It's no longer, but it was by then, 20 years ago. And the challenge was, with a huge past, and with an interesting present, but without future. And the bridge between the past, the present, the future, that was the challenge. We had to meet there. When ruling about urban reality, about a small village like a big town, a big city. That's why this kind of conference is not a conference just for experts on urban design. No, it is a conference useful for any citizen, for the sustainable development of this city. And coming back to Goa, I feel here also a little bit how proud I am, without nostalgia, of the cultural heritage we left in Goa, as in Daman or Diu, as I feel very proud of the marks that India has left on my culture, the Portuguese culture, on my history, the Portuguese history, on the survival of my nation. Because we are what we are because we had, at the point, the influence of your mathematicians, of your arithmetics, of your calculus, of your cultural influence in the world. There are no first-class cultures, and second-class cultures or civilizations. All cultures are first-class cultures and civilizations. That's what we learn. We have learned with our history and with your history too. And it's the dialogue between these cultures and civilizations that really gives the basis on which, armed with intelligent tools, we can join forces and get new and improved synergies. And we just signed several agreements, many agreements between official institutions, Indian and Portuguese, and also companies, and also universities. The University of Coimbra, which is one of the oldest universities in Europe, has signed an agreement with your university, with one of your colleges, qualified colleges. And we recall that you have one of the first universities in the world, you India, in the world. This shows how relative is the way we deal with history. And we must be very humble, all of us, getting the best of our traditions, of our legacies, of our dialogue, of our presence. And this is so rich and so human that I find myself in India, and specifically here in Goa, at home. As I feel that your ambassador in Portugal feels at home whenever she sees what Portugal means for her culture, for her civilization, for her way of living, which is yours. So, thank you for this invitation, because it recalls me my past as someone that has worked in that small municipality. But also, I was leader of the opposition in the municipal council in Lisbon, in the capital. And also, chairman of the municipal parliament in Cascais, a rather important municipality in the neighborhood of Lisbon. So most of my public activity has been dealing with urban subjects in different, very different situations. So for me also, I feel at home. I'm feeling at home when discussing urban design and urban projects and urban change for better, for our youngsters, for the young generations. And this mixture of urban subjects, urban design specifically, of this Goa unique microclimate, human microclimate, of this very special India, of this friendship between India and Portugal, in a new world where we are living, a world in change, that is changing every day. This makes my visit here so special for me. I've been visiting most of the world, great powers, medium-sized powers, small countries, plenty of interesting landscapes and interesting people. But I must confess you, this is a very special time for me. On behalf of all Portuguese, thank you for your invitation.